welcome back to the Couch Command podcast. My name is Keith Hayward. I'll be your host. We are on popgeeks.com, thanks to my friend Eileen, and our podcast is produced by another friend of mine, Brian Klein, the Sonic Clang. The intro and outro music is done by The Starcadian. I highly recommend listening to his music. He makes what he calls ear music, which is music that takes the 3-act structure of a movie, of the introduction, the trouble in the middle, and then you get the climactic victory. And that's how he makes his music. It's fantastic. With me today, I have MJ.
Howdy, howdy.
All right. Also returning is Voidcat. Thank you for coming back again.
I was happy to be here, talking about some nerd stuff.
Yeah. Let's see our geek on. Let's see. What I've been geeking on is let's see. The first thing I wanted to talk about is revisiting. Have you guys ever seen Jewel of the Nile or Romancing the Stone?
Romancing the Stone, yeah.
For like ages ago.
yeah. I'm not sure what got. When I play a game called Earth Defense Force, I always say, "This is Space Invaders," and it's one of my favorite lines from Jewel of the Nile, where Michael Douglas, he's like piloting a fighter jet on the ground against tanks, and like he figures out how to shoot the gun, and he goes, "This is Space Invaders." And I've just been dying to go back to it, and it's a beautiful marriage of like the romance novels that my mom used to love with Indiana Jones. It's about a writer who writes romance novels who gets swept away on an Indiana Jones adventure, and yeah, it's fun, it's easygoing, it's beautiful, and hilarious and massively quotable, especially Jewel of the Nile. So I'd recommend seeing that. Also, have you guys been following The Mandalorian?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no! Wait. Is it because you don't care about Star Wars?
It's because I'm frustrated with Star Wars, yes.
Oh, all right. I will say The Mandalorian keeps on being Star Wars the apology. Like, you can very much tell how much they're like, we know. And each season, each episode to me just kind of gives us a clean, fun, this is why we love Star Wars adventure. MJ, what do you think of the new season? Yeah, in a minute. MJ, what do you think of the new season?
It's been great so far. I know some people are getting a little annoyed with, they're starting to mash in all this additional lore from all the other parts of Star Wars. Like, it's part of the Filoniverse. What do you expect?
What I think is happening is like it was a successful formula finally, and then the rest of Disney's like, "Can you save the rest of us, please?" And now they're bringing in everything because it's the pillar of what people love, and maybe they can write those coattails to make the money.
Last season was more about that. I mean, bringing in Luke and all those other, the X-Wings, and reminding everybody, like, hey, it's New Republic out there. Like, that was more of last season. This season is totally Filoni. It's more of plugging back into stuff that he started with Clone Wars and Rebels, and doing what I was hoping they were going to do last season, and actually going back to Mandalore and starting to get into the actual Mandalorian lore. So, and then, the ending with Bo-Katan saving Din. And I can't believe he went walking off without checking to see how freaking deep the living waters was.
Well, he was being
and like, holy shit!
If you're baptized, you have to go through a near-death experience of death and then rebirth. So it makes sense. And seeing Starbuck return as Bo-Katan, she's killing it. I love seeing her on screen. She's fun, and she has her own starfighter, which looks really cool. So I'm enjoying.
Even if the wings are horribly impractical. I just that ship design, just because I like Kylo Ren's ship in the sequel trilogy with the huge oversized wings. Like, what is the functional purpose of that outside of just looking monolithic and posing?
Hovering and landing.
We were just talking about this when we were talking about Dread. The look and the imposing and the scaring of the people who see it is the important bit.
There's an importance to cool factor.
And I guess that is a little extra, which kind of fits the whole persona of Kylo Ren when it comes to the sequel trilogy. But yeah, the whole massive folding up wing for Bo-Katan's ship. Like, what is the purpose of that? It just looks stupid.
My love of it is so that, we don't get to see Kylo Ren's stupid ship. We get to see Bo-Katan's now. Now this design blows Bo-Katan, and let's never speak of Kylo Ren ever again.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's great seeing more of Sakov come in, and I'm hoping they don't try to wedge in some stupid romance storyline between Bo-Katan and Din, because
not gonna happen.
I don't know lately, man. Every time I think they're gonna hold fast and not go down that route, so they just like, hey, look, Picard has a son. Hey, look, Bo-Katan and Din are gonna get in the thing.
I do want that to happen with Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker. But Bo-Katan and Din, I completely see them not do any affection to each other whatsoever. They are both just Mandalorians.
Wait. Do you want it to happen with Ahsoka and Luke because they were both betrayed by Anakin?
yeah. And now I do. Yes, like laying in bed together. You know what's fucked up? What's fucked up? Oh my god!
You're
I can't
dead.
believe it. Yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe it. Yes, just and plus, like Luke, he never gets the girl, man. I've been salty about the latest before she was his sister. I've been salty about that ever since. So, and Ahsoka's awesome, Luke's awesome. Well, let's see them kiss. Let's just give those two.
I want that even less than Din and Bo-Katan, man. Just
because you don't want to see. You don't want to see like. I would imagine.
Don't do that. Don't do that to Ahsoka. Don't do it to Luke.
A little forced. It's a little forced. I know. No pun intended.
And I'm still holding out hope that they're gonna let the other ball drop and they'll bring Mara in, but that's just me. Since they've borrowed so liberally from the Legends universe up till now as it is.
Which I find really interesting, considering how when they were working on the movies, they were like, we're deliberately going to absolutely do the opposite of anything that has happened in the extended universe. And now they were like, oh, maybe people liked it for a reason.
Sorry, fucked up. How about some extended universe, guys? Still want for that?
Yeah, as soon as Thrawn showed up in Rebels, like, you cherry-picking bastards, really? Mandalorian's off to a good start. I hope they keep going with what they got going, and I'm just wondering what's going to end up happening with the Darksaber, because Bo-Katan is hot to trot to get that away from Din, and Din obviously doesn't want the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he won it; it's his, so he's honor bound by the possession of the Darksaber to maintain it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that and what ultimately ends up happening with Mandalore.
And I sense this is place setting, so I believe there's going to be a big payoff by the end that's going to like rocket us into a saga. So I'm curious where this is going to go.
Unless it's an Andor ending, then it's just going to be like, it happened.
Last night, I finally gave in and watched The Last of Us and rocketed through 4 episodes of it.
Dang, that's some heavy stuff to be watching like in a row.
Yeah. Me and a friend were going to watch a movie, and then we watched 1 episode, and then 2 episodes, and then we can hang out a bit longer. We don't want to do another 2-hour movie, so we stayed with The Last of Us. But yeah, I'm usually not game for that, and after 4, I was definitely done. I was tapped out of that kind of stress. But yeah, everyone was right. It's a masterwork. They are killing it.
Aren't they?
Yeah, I was worried. I was worried. Like, is this going to be like male versus female? Any kind of drama building up? So we have fandoms arguing. I don't want to play this game anymore. Please don't do this. But
nope.
No, thank God. I love
it's
Ellie.
Like I said a couple weeks ago. It's all the best episodes of Walking Dead, all in a row, and with 70% less zombies.
I did not watch The Walking Dead. I didn't play the game, but I knew what the ending of the game was. Like, I know the basics. I think the rhythm is really good. Every episode is a really good, self-contained story. I really like all of the world building that they're doing with the non-Ellie and Joel stuff. And I was delighted at the very beginning of the first episode to see Christopher Heyerdahl, who, Keith, if you didn't recognize him, Christopher Heyerdahl plays 2 characters in Stargate Atlantis. He plays Holling, who is the father of the kid from the Athosians in the first couple of episodes. And like the one Athosian that you see the most aside from Taylor. And he also plays Todd.
Oh shit.
Love Christopher Heyerdahl. He deserves to be in way more. He was in the first scene. Todd is the Wraith that they're buddies with, kind of.
Who was he in Last of Us?
Yeah.
He's in the very first scene. He's the scientist that, the two scientists are being interviewed. He's the one who's like, hold up.
Oh, the interviewer?
I need you to stop talking. No, not the interviewer. The scientist that's like, our body heat is too high. That will never happen. And then the other guy's like,
cool.
What if the Earth heats up, though? And he did a really like nuanced performance. I love it because you can see him sitting there, and it's an interview. It's televised. He's trying his best to be respectful, but like it's clear that like the other scientist is talking, and he's like, "That's trash. That's not real science. You're wrong. What are you doing? Stop it!" And then he finally is like, "Hold on." Anyway.
Wow. Absolutely didn't notice, and looking up, and that is cool. I love me some Stargate Atlantis people. Yeah.
And the other guy is the guy from The Mummy. P.S.
Oh, yes.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Spartacus Blood and Sand. That's right.
Sorry, you guys. I don't know.
If you want to see his best performance, Spartacus Blood and Sand, Batiatus, he is a thundering presence. That's his best performance by far. He's amazing.
And he gets to hang out with Lucy Lawless.
Yes, he gets to be Lucy Lawless' husband, and Lucy Lawless is not afraid to be nude. And oh my god, I can't believe that happened in my life. And I was like so happy. Like, thank you, Lucy Lawless. God bless you.
Xena's naked. What?
Yeah.
It was you're not going to try to be caught up on Last of Us before the finale tomorrow night?
Probably won't make it by then, but
oh my god, I'm dying. Please, I can't believe it's already done. Only 9 episodes in this season. How dare you?
I expected 10.
So did I.
So did we.
If you guys want a podcast about that, I'd love to. Because
sure, let's do a separate podcast for that. Why not?
Yeah, Ellie and Joel. Their chemistry is amazing. It's electric and fun, and it makes my heart warm. And I love how like on even footing they are without belittling each other. Which I was like
they do that a little bit.
Yeah, in great loving nature, they do it to each other. I love that. But like from the promo images, I expected Joel. I thought they were going to do the whole thing. Joel, whatever. He's more of a background setting. Ellie's the main character, and I was like, no, please don't. But they didn't.
Do you know anything about the video game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I know all the big beats that happen in the video game.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how they navigate that. I am very, very, very curious. And it's
wait until you get to episode 8, Keith. That's a great Ellie episode.
Yeah. Cool. I'm watching it. I haven't played the game, like I said, but I'm watching it with some of my friends, and half of them have played the game, and the other half haven't. And it's been really interesting, like seeing which bits they whisper. Mm-hmm. And from their point of view, what they've said is like some bits are, just straight out of the game. The bits that are not straight out of the game are like really good world building. And there are a couple places where you could tell, like one of the episodes where they're at one of the other QZs. Like they go inside, Ellie goes inside a little hole, and then from there it's like clear that was like a specific video game setting, right? Like
I was so mad when she did that.
Really funny.
Underneath the convenience store, she did like me and my friends have classifications of characters, and she is Little Jane Doe, the female version of the Little Jimmy. They both do the same annoying things where you say, "All right, Little Jimmy, Little Jane Doe, stay here. Do not wander off." Okay, and they immediately wander off and get captured. God damn it, Little Jimmy! And yeah. Sure. Climbing down into like that hole in a world of active monsters, I just God, that drove me crazy.
That was my one annoyance. Too, yeah.
Famously, Ellie though is in video games one of the characters that you have to bring around that isn't a terribly annoying AI that's constantly wandering into danger. Like she's actually capable of hiding behind shit and stuff. It's great. So I think they've reflected that pretty well, where like even when she does crazy shit, like she's keeping an eye out. She's actually like sneaking properly.
A feature of Little Jimmy's and Little Jane Doe's is each time they encounter something horrific and dangerous, they level up massively. So by the end of their adventure, they become hero. And Luke Skywalker is the first little Jimmy that we made note of. So that's how they work out.
Cute.
The other fun thing about the series is they kind of sneak in the original voice actors from the game in minor roles, like
a couple places, yeah.
Yeah, like Troy Baker, who voiced Joel, shows up in episode 8.
Cool.
Supposedly, the actress who did Ellie's voice is supposed to be in the finale too.
Interesting.
Nice.
The head Firefly.
Neil Druckmann.
I have no idea. The head Firefly is actually straight up the actress that played that character in the video game.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one last thing about the show that I really loved was seeing Joel pick up the assault rifle after he beat to death that one guard.
Yep.
Like that's a thing that like drove me crazy in Dread 2012, where like they're going through, they're fighting, and they leave behind a whole lot of guns. And I was like that's a pet peeve throughout any movie or thing. If you kill some people, you need weapons in this world. I don't want to see you walk away from all their equipment on their belt.
I will argue with you about Dredd specifically that it's he's so used to like, this is my judge gear. I do not use anything but my judge gear. The only time that he ever picks up ammo is because it's from another judge. But aside from that, you're right. It annoys me when they do that in like movies where you're like, you're really just going to leave that machine gun? I mean,
yeah, you got limited ammo, and he did run out of ammo, and like he could have used like a couple of those machine guns on his back, but oh no, I have to use my signature weapon.
Another quick thing about the cameos from the first episode while we were talking about it. Did you guys recognize the actor who played the soldier that Joel beats up at the end of the first episode?
No.
I did not.
You remember the little kid from the beginning of Jurassic Park that Alan Grant drags the velociraptor claw across his belly to scare him?
Ooh, whoa, yeah. That is awesome.
It took me like half hour after I watched the episode. I'm like, where do I know his damn face? That's the kid! Holy crap!
I can see it, but I would never have seen it if you didn't say something.
I haven't seen the episode since it came out, so I don't remember.
All right, and then lastly for me is the Three Body Problem TV series that is finally finished. It was fantastic. I loved
the Chinese
it.
one, right?
Yep, the Chinese one that they wanted to make sure they got out before the Netflix one. I'm dying to see how the Netflix one tries to do Three Body Problem, because it's specifically like it's important that you see it from the Chinese point of view, and I don't think they'll be doing that in Netflix. Mm-hmm.
So what is this? I mean, it's like what, 50 episodes, and they're like 50 minutes a piece.
30 episodes.
30 episodes.
30
surprisingly,
episodes. That's long.
Yeah, it is. I was quite surprised, but like for me, it was part of my morning routine. I'd have breakfast and watch Three Body Problem, and it was great. I enjoyed having that part of my mornings, and the episodes went by swiftly. They changed, and like it was massively faithful to the book. There's a few changes that were always understandable because there would be things happening where the person's alone, but you'd have someone to sound off of. So they include another character, and it was fantastic all the way to the end. I just wonder, the budget that I saw on screen, like there's a giant time jump that ends up with like, you know, space fleets by the end of the book, and then the third book you go so hard cosmic that I wonder if they'll actually make it there, and if anyone has the television budget to make them. So that's my feelings on Three Body Problem TV series. I think that it is always best. I don't mean to be a book snob. I don't want to be one of those people, but the fun of the series for me was like, how are they going to pull off what was in the book that seems that you can't pull off? And I would recommend reading the book first. Then you get to experience how they do it in TV series. So yeah, that's all I've been geeking on. MJ, what have you been geeking on?
Hulu put out History of the World Part 2, which is the supposedly long-awaited sequel to Mel Brooks' 1981 movie.
Holy
and
shit.
So, leading up to it, I decided, what the hell? I'll go watch all of Mel Brooks' movies again, because I haven't watched some of his best ones, like Young Frankenstein and History of the World Part 1 and Spaceballs for a while. Mm-hmm. And I decided to watch all the other ones I've never seen of his, and I had no idea the guy had that many freaking movies. He has like 12 movies out, but he hasn't made one since 1995. But it was fun going back and watching through like High Anxiety. It was like his send up to Alfred Hitchcock movies, which was a lot of fun. And silent movie, he did a completely silent movie in 1976. Go figure, only he could have pulled that off. He even managed to get Burt Reynolds and Paul Newman and a few other big names of the time in there, and the only word of dialogue in the entire movie was spoken by a mime. Perfection.
Nice.
That's
saw the original producers, which I'd never seen before, with Gene Wilder, and that one, it's not nearly as good as the 2005 one with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. But Springtime for Hitler is still a show-stopping number. Rewatched rewatched all the other classics. Blazing Saddles, I'm still not a fan. I know a lot of people that call me blasphemous for thinking Blazing Saddles is not one of his best works, but I only laughed once that entire movie.
It's a rough experience, but it has some greatness in it.
Yeah, Gene Wilder's, morons line is still the funniest part of the entire damn movie. But, yeah, History of the World Part 1 was still my favorite of his, but then got to History of the World Part 2. It was a nice try. I've seen episodes of Drunk History that was better written and better produced than the entire 8-episode run that they did of History of the World Part 2. I mean, they had a couple of decent bits, like Curb Your Judaism with Judas instead of Larry David. That was fun.
Cute.
Then they had Concestry.com, where you could trace all of your ancestry back to Kublai Khan, because, he was notorious for screwing half the planet.
Yep.
That was funny, but by and large, I feel bad for Mel Brooks, as that's going to potentially be his legacy, because it was not good.
Yeah, I'd imagine that. And I'm surprised that he did it.
Not as bad or boring as Dracula Dead and Loving It, but...
Yeah, I think I saw that, and I think I was shocked at how unfunny it was.
Yeah, he played it straight up, and it was just boring.
That's kind of what I expected, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, in the back of my mind I was expecting it to not be that great, but kind of hoping for a little more. I mean, the fact that they got Zazie Beetz and she was bored as Mary Magdalene the entire time, like, okay, you're definitely doing something wrong if even Zazie Beetz is bored and doesn't know what to do. So
sounds like doing it just to be doing it.
Yep, they thought it would make money, so they made it.
Yep, and they're hoping to make a season 2, and I hope they don't. But
yes, just instead of making new things, we don't want to spend money on something that might fail. So instead, let's just remake something that nobody has seen in 10 years. I'm sure it'll make plenty of money, and nobody will be upset. Haha.
This IP will be a good bet.
Should have been, but they've been better off making a sequel to Young Frankenstein than. I don't know what the hell they would have done. They've done differently to do it better, but
the sequel of Young Frankenstein would have been Frankenstein and Madeline Kahn's child.
Well, the thing is with Mel Brooks movies, I mean, they're all kind of lampooning a certain genre and certain time in filmmaking,
sure.
like silent movie, and Young Frankenstein was a sign up to the old 50s monster movies and all that stuff. I mean, they just kind of forgot what made Mel Brooks movies good in the first place, which even Mel Brooks himself kind of lost track of after History of the World Part 1, because if we're being honest, none of his movies are really that good after History of the World.
If you want some
even
good
Spaceballs, I know I'm kind of blasphemous for saying Spaceballs isn't that great, but
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you rewatch it, and some of the jokes are still pretty damn funny. I mean, they've gone to plaid. That'll always be funny, but it's really not that good of a movie. Good. It's really not that good of a movie. I'm sorry to say. But.
Killed it when I was 12.
Yeah, that was the first one I ever saw of his, was Spaceballs, but then I saw History of the World Part 1, and it just blew it away.
I would really recommend doing a Google search for an interview with Mel Brooks, though. Him and, I think it's his granddaughter, she interviews him, and it was beautiful. He talks about his life, lost friends, adventures, and just, his creative process. So if you want, a good Mel Brooks to go out on, that interview, which I think was a self-pitch by his granddaughter, who was trying to also, hey, I'm also working on a TV show, eye shifting, and he's like, well, how are you gonna pay here? Look, I'll call some people for you, he says. And it's seeing, and you can see the genuine love between those two, though, and it was a lot of fun seeing them play off each other and talk about life. So I recommend looking
I'll look that up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
It was very good.
The other thing, I actually, against my better judgment, decided to check out M. Night Shyamalan's latest one, Knock at the Cabin.
Aw, I was expecting that to be good. My fingers are still crossed.
It was decent. It's not as infuriating as, say, The Village or Glass or, God damn him, The Last Airbender.
Let's not speak of.
We're never going to talk about that movie again.
It did not happen.
No.
Although I thought Glass is. No, wait, Glass is fine.
Disagree. I didn't like Glass.
Okay. Wait, what was the one with like
Split? Glass was terrible.
Oh, I'm thinking of the one that you didn't know was a sequel. It was Patricia you were talking to.
Split. Split. Yeah. I didn't like Split either. I felt like Split really
disrespectful to the real problems of
Yep, exactly.
I could see that. For me, I was like looking at his own world, and I enjoyed the performance. James McAvoy.
Yeah.
I thought he was
James
really
McAvoy did
good.
a great job. I just didn't like the plot overall.
Understood. And then it's like one of those things for me where like I often don't pay attention or give enough credit to acting, and his job on there was so good that it made me stand up and go, "Oh shit, yeah, I should pay more attention to the skill of acting." But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that his latest outing is okay. But I thought The Village was a ground rule double. I thought that was pretty legit. Did you see The Village?
I did not.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Ground rule double.
I've kind of been avoiding Shyamalan movies for a while.
Understandable.
I think Split was the last one I saw.
That was the last good one.
I'll step
Again,
to back.
I disagree.
I'll step to bat for Lady in the Lake or Lady in the Water. I thought that was pretty good.
I never did see that one. I kind of gave up on Shyamalan for a while after The Village, and then I like Signs. That's still one of my favorite ones. But
I liked Signs. I saw it in the movie theater with like my older half sister. I think I liked it upon watching it, and then later on when I was thinking about the plot, I was like, "That's nonsensical."
So wait, did you see his opus with Marky Mark and Evil Wind? What's that called?
What?
The one that was like his grand fuck up that everybody like loves to dunk on.
I thought that was Avatar.
No, it was Mark Wahlberg, and it turned out to be like the trees and the grass were killing people.
I want to say it's The Happening or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. The Happening.
The Happening.
Did you guys see The Happening?
No.
Oh wow, I recommend seeing that one. It's so amazingly bad. I saw it in the theater, and like my jaw was slack afterwards, and like I was like dazed. I was like, what happened? Oh my god, yeah. I highly recommend you have to see it to believe it. There's a chase sequence where wind is going over grass, and you have to outrun the wind that's bending the grass because then you'll die. It's so good. I mean, bad. It's just,
here's the question: did he write the screenplay, or was he adapting it from something else?
I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed that one. That was like his biggest. Like, okay, we're done. M. Night, you're out of here, man. After The Happening, everybody says stop. Please don't do that ever again. I don't know what happened, but yeah, you got to see that shit. It was really good. I mean, really bad. Good bad.
Yeah, because Knock at the Cabin. He was adapting a book, and it's about a family that's out vacationing, and four strangers wander onto the land and start intimidating them and start telling them that they alone have to make up their minds about what sacrifices they have to make to help save the world, because if they don't, then the apocalypse is upon them. And
funny.
Oh, of course.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, and to his credit, Dave Bautista is pretty damn awesome, and it still amazes me how nuanced that guy can be acting sometimes for being a big, muscly meathead.
Seeing him in Blade Runner made me go, whoa, what the hell happened? Like, how are you that good?
Yeah, and I mean, the cast is actually fairly decent. Even Ron Weasley himself is in it. Speaking of the Weasleys. The biggest problem with the movie is, from what I understand, he totally changed the ending of the book. I haven't read the book, but from reviews I've been reading online, he dramatically changed the ending of the book to the screen.
Come on, Shyamalan, you can't do endings well. We've talked about this. You know this. People make fun of your plot twist all the time. Maybe just leave it as is and see what happens.
Sometimes I think that's a good thing, so that you get something different when you watch the movie, and then you can still be surprised when you read the book.
Yeah, he's not as bullish with the surprise twist like he usually is with the movies. So I'll give him that on this one. But he's got this bullish subtlety to his movies that I finally realized watching this that just annoys me. It just distracts me too much from what he's actually trying to say on the screen. And he's trying so hard to frame every shot in this exotic and over-intriguing way, and like, dude, just shoot the fucking scene. Tell the story. Don't out-stylize yourself. Just tell the goddamn story.
I do have this frustration a lot with some of the new stuff coming out where they focus so much on the intrigue that they don't actually tell the story. Like we've seen that in TV shows with like Ring of Power. I feel like had this issue with trying to make everything a puzzle box, and you're like, okay, just go through the plot. Box. If you just do the plot, it will be fine. Because they're trying to get people to jump onto the internet and be like, who is this? Who is this character? I think it's this character actually every single week. And like, it's stupid. I hate it. Stop.
They need to call Fran Walsh back in. Please let her write it. Please, God, please. God, yeah, Rings of Power. We talked about that. That was sad.
But as far as Knockout Cabin, it's middle of the road for M. Night. It's not his best. It's not his worst. It's just there. So I was waiting to be horribly disappointed, as I usually end up being with M. Night, and I wasn't horribly disappointed, but I can't recommend it.
All right.
So, but anyway, that's what I've mainly been geeking on.
And lastly, Void Cat. What have you been geeking on? Or what are you looking forward to geek on? Yeah, what's your pick?
Yeah, I have a couple answers here. One, I'm rereading the Hunter x Hunter manga right now because Togashi, the manga artist, recently finally released some chapters. It's been on hiatus for quite a while because he has like health problems. And he's about to release another chapter, so I'm really excited about that. The plot right now is right towards the end of an arc where, all of the shit is about to start going down. So, all of us that are still reading Hunter x Hunter whenever it comes out are just like vibrating in our seats. Because this is like the most ridiculous arc so far. It has the most characters. It's a succession arc. So basically the king is like, I'm going to die soon. I'm trying to pick my successors out of these 14 children that I have, prince and princesses. I think they're all called princes, but, there's both genders, whatever. The youngest is a baby. The oldest is like, in his 40s. And all of them get these things called Nen beasts, which is already kind of a spoiler for people who don't know anything about Hunter x Hunter. But they're basically like 14 different factions on this ship that all want to win because they only become the successor when they wipe out the other 13 princes. And there's some mafia involved on board, and some of the mafia belongs to some of the princes and some of them don't. So when the fighting starts, it's going to be a bloodbath. There's like 3 different people, groups of people that are unrelated to that, like Succession as well, including 2 of the main cast. So we're getting ready for some tears and a lot of blood, and I'm very excited, but it's going to take forever to come out.
I hear it is like Hunter x Hunter is, close to being One Piece caliber.
I mean, I would not say that because One Piece has been consistently coming out, whereas Hunter x Hunter goes on a lot of hiatuses. Again, because Togashi is like having health issues. But it has been running for about the same amount of time. I think Hunter x Hunter started in 98. But it certainly has a lot less episodes. There was a TV show, there was an anime version that came out in 99, which was only the first kind of 2-3 arcs. And then in 2011, they released another anime. That team said that when the arc is done, they'll animate it, but we'll see how long that takes.
Right.
the 2011 anime is really good. I recommend watching it. It's my favorite anime ever. There's a bit that really blows me away, and I can't tell you why because it's a major spoiler. But if you like anime, if you like shonen anime, and you like kind of subversive commentary, it's definitely one that I recommend watching. Every arc is like a different genre, basically.
Oh,
like the first one's a tournament arc. Well, the first two maybe, and then I don't want to spoil it, but
knowing what
go watch
it can develop into is a spoiler. Because if so, don't tell me. But I've been curious about it for a long time.
Can watch it, kid.
All right.
It's my very favorite anime.
Over One Piece. You're saying this on record.
On record, I like Hunter x Hunter more than I like One Piece.
Mother.
One Piece has a dear place in my heart. Again, One Piece is one of the only animes that ever, or things in general, just pieces of fiction that made me cry over a ship.
Mm-hmm.
But Hunter x Hunter beats it. I'm sorry, One Piece.
All right.
Love you, Zoro.
That's high praise.
Things that I've been watching, the best like live action thing that I've been watching right now is Last of Us. So we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then a thing I'm really excited about is the D&D movie finally coming out. I'm a big fan of Chris Pine. I didn't like the plots of the new Star Trek movies by J.J. Abrams, but I think that the whole cast did an amazing job. Chris Pine, Carl Urban, and the rest of them, like they all did a great job, bringing those characters back to life. I think Chris Pine's comedy is really like he just gets the timing right. So I'm excited to see this like silly movie. I hope it's a silly action movie. Like there's no need for Dungeons and Dragons to be taken super seriously. Like I play Dungeons and Dragons every Saturday morning. I played this morning before we recorded the podcast. And even in the direst of circumstances, the players are always making like dumb jokes. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that should be reflected in the D&D movies. And all the ones in the past were like trying way too hard to be super serious fantasy. And there's no reason to do that. This silly shit going on all the time. So.
And that's the impression I got from the trailer. It seems like it was written by a bunch of guys or a bunch of folks who just sat around and played the game for a while.
Exactly. It looks like it's going to be silly. So I'm really excited about it. It comes out very soon.
My fingers are crossed on it. I'm scared a little bit.
Yeah, the D&D movies kind of have like a cursed history, but here we are.
Cursed indeed. Yeah, like I was like hyper focused on that first one that came out, and I blew my friends' email boxes up with like, guys, this is going to be amazing. This guy named Courtney Solomon.
I'm so sorry.
It's going to be, guys, we can't wait. And then like we walked out of it, and like I was in denial about how bad it was, and I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
So, and then like how silly I am seeing the trailers make me scared they'll go too goofy on it, and there won't be any way to any danger, and they'll just be slapstick comedy. And
they're going to Revel's End, so there's going to be some danger. That's actually where my D&D game is right now, and it's terrifying. So
they're going to where? Good
luck to them. Revel's End is like the ultimate high max prison in the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, cool! I didn't know of like locations in Dungeons and Dragons. So, all right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm geeking about.
All right. This is like one of our shorter episodes. A lot of us we got some things to get to, so I think we'll end this up with like a recommendation from each. Cool.
Watch Last of Us if you haven't yet. That's all I got.
MJ, what would you recommend?
Two quick ones. Creed 3, went and saw that last weekend. It's not quite as good as the first Creed, but it's pretty damn close. Highly recommend going and see it, especially if you're a Rocky fan or a fan of the first two Creed movies. And Ryan Coogler coming back and working with Michael B. Jordan and getting Jonathan Majors in for it. I hope that keeps going, because that's a pretty damn good team to keep working together for that franchise. Even if it was the first Rocky movie that didn't have Rocky in it. So. The other one, and I don't know why it's just suddenly becoming a big thing on the internet, but I've finally sat down and watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish after everyone started raving about it.
Yes, people went crazy about that movie.
that is a pretty damn good kids movie. It's a little too predictable with how some of the things tie up at the end, but it was a good fun movie. It was actually kind of neat if you're a fan of Desperado, because Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek are the main two character voices.
Ah, cool.
And the most coolest character, and how I really finally buckled down and watched this, because my son's been watching TikTok memes, and the wolf with the sickle blades has become a major meme lately. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch the damn movie. That was one badass character. He has these sickles that fold into curved weapons that form around his wrists, and he's just flipping around everywhere. And the animation style is very reminiscent of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, well, that's mainly for the action scenes. It's pretty standard DreamWorks animation otherwise, but it's all blended together and very dynamic, and it was a surprise to see that DreamWorks came out with a movie like that.
Did it make you cry or almost cry?
I wouldn't say it made me cry, but it definitely got the feels a few times. It's a very heartfelt movie. It definitely hits on a lot of relevant themes like mortality and valuing what's good in life over the bad, accepting who you are and what you have in life. It really is just a good, solid family movie. You don't really see too many of those without some overwhelming social message being pounded into your head.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
So yeah, I definitely recommend both, especially if you're a parent. Take your kids, go see Puss in Boots, or spin it up and watch it on Peacock right now. So I guess it just started streaming yesterday. So,
all right. Let's see. My recommendations. I have been getting more and more into westerns lately. Been kind of enjoying the aesthetic of how those gritty guys talk and are grim, and they have these badass speeches and whatnot. And in that is John Carter. I'm almost done with that book. Like the first sci-fi books, and you can tell, like, in the way that the character speaks from the first person, that the writer grew up on westerns and then decided to remix it into a fantasy epic on Mars. And it's fantastic. I can, through his writing, feel the influence through all my heroes of R.A. Salvatore, George Lucas, and like all these other people. Like also like anime. It's very interesting. Like this old sci-fi is very, very anime. With how John Carter fights, because the gravity on Mars is lesser, so that he can pretty much dive and jump as high as a regular anime hero usually does. So he fights that style, which I can't help but think that's where it maybe came from and it evolved into what we see in anime. There's like this other one, the Black Star Passes. The way the enemies are described are like Zentradi or other aliens that I've seen in anime. So like seeing the influences as they ripple through time has been a lot of fun to experience. Speaking of anime, I would recommend watching Red Photon Zillion. It's like so in one of the first animes I ever watched was Voltron, which is Go Lion in Japan. And my favorite stuff in Voltron and Power Rangers is when they're not in the giant robot. The animation of seeing the heroes dive, spin, and shoot and get into these like well animated and choreographed shootouts is my favorite parts of those anime. And Zillion says, hey, what if we did just that? And they are dealing with cool Zentradi-esque hyper aliens who are attacking for an unknown reason. And when the aliens appear, this like kick-ass guitar riff kicks in, and it's like I'm just having a good old time. They start with their signature weapon, which is the Sega Master System blaster, which I thought was kind of fun as hell to see happen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the animation is, once again, like 80s anime is astoundingly well done. And I keep looking for more of that stuff. So if you like 80s anime or animation and gunfights in anime, Zillion. I can't recommend it highly enough. Last recommendation is a show called Justified, another modern Western done by like Elmore Leonard, who I'm going to be tracking down his Western books, starring Timothy Oliphant. And this is like his signature role that I think all other roles orbit. And they're trying to bring that character into The Mandalorian. So if you liked him in The Mandalorian, you want to see the real one of him being Raylan Givens in Justified, because there's going to be it's like 10 years later, a sequel series is coming out pretty soon. So getting prepared for that, you'll have a lot of fun with these amazing characters and lots of great acting and some of the best writing I've seen in a television series. So if you like gunslingers and great dialogue and plotting and acting, I highly recommend Justified.
Hey, if you like westerns, may I also suggest Star Trek, the original series.
That is definitely on my radar because it's the wagon train in space. All right. Also, I recommend Picard. They're back on their game, and Void. If you just give one more episode, I think you'll see something that you have problems with in that last podcast we did addressed. And bunch of
We'll see.
Thank you. MJ, where can you find more of you on the internet?
I'm on all the socials as MJ3342.
Hey, tell people how to spell MJ.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes, EMJAY3342.
There you go. Voidcat, where can you find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Voidcat Gaming.
All right, you can find me at Keith Justice on Instagram and at Keith Hayward on Twitter. You can find this podcast and more at popgeeks.com. Thank you for listening. Geek out. See you next time.
Bye.